I'm Matt with eTrailer. If you're someone who is hauling a few trailers behind you and you need something that's going to be easy to work with, but you're also someone who also likes to haul some other type of sports equipment with you or anything else to make your journey a little bit easier too, then the Way-Safe Steel 180 Pro Ball Mount is going to be a great option for you that will allow you to carry those accessories with you. And it's going to work like any other type of adjustable ball mount out there. Let me get this out of our way so we can get a better look at it. So if you're someone who has maybe 3 or 4 trailers and you're riding around and maybe the trailers are a little bit different, you want to ensure that you have a safe towing experience, you'll be able to adjust this because we're going to have a 2 5/16 inch ball on top and a 2-inch one on the bottom. So even if they have different couplers, you're going to be set for that. And you can also adjust the height and drop of it. Now this is going to have a max drop of 8 inches and you can flip it around to get that on top too. So really that's going to give you a lot of adjustability for those trailers that are going to be sitting at those different heights. Now what really separates it though from any other type of ball mount out there is going to be this receiver at the very end. Not just designed to work with your heavier cargo carriers, but let's say you got something like a bike rack. And it's been a long day. You don't want to have to deal with taking this out because it is made of steel. It's pretty sturdy and it's pretty heavy too. You want something that's just going to be easy to work with. I don't have to remove this. It's going to save me a lot of time when I am loading up my other accessories. So if I'm someone who likes to bike and tow, then I can just simply put this back here too and be set for my journey. And 2 things I just want to mention about this. One, this does not come with a pin, so that's something you're going to have to invest in yourself if you don't already own one. And that's just going to be how you're going to secure your accessories back here. Second thing is, when I remove this, let's say you have a coupler that has a 3rd different ball size that this one doesn't have. This is not designed where you can put a 3rd ball here. So if you have any other towing accessories like another ball mount, it's not designed for you to put it here. It'd be more of a safety hazard if you do that. But let's kind of jump into how this is adjustable. So what I like about the 180 series is this right here. I'm going to have this rubber cap, get that out of the way. We're going to have this pin system. It's going to be locking, so you can be extra secure that way so no one can take your ball. And my favorite part is these pins are on one piece, so you don't have to individually pull them out. It just makes it a lot more convenient. When you do pull them, just make sure you maintain control of this, and you can raise and drop it. And these can be adjusted in 1-inch increments, and you can also completely remove it off too. So you just pull it off like that. I can flip it around, so now I have my 2-inch ball on top. Put that back on, and put it wherever I want it to be. Just like this. Now I will say it does have a pretty thick powder coat on it, so sometimes it's going to stick on you. I don't completely mind that just because it does make it a little bit less likely of falling down, especially if my foot was underneath here and smashing my toes. But that's still something to kind of watch out for. And this is going to be designed to work with your 2-inch receivers. And on top of that, the receiver at the very end of this is also going to be a 2-inch receiver, so you don't have to worry about mixing and matching other shank sizes. But now let's kind of talk about the adjustability of this ball mount. Now this is just really easy to use. I'm going to remove this cap here, and that's going to help protect underneath it. And you notice it does have a lock core on there, so this is going to be super secure. No one can come by and take it. And what I like about this one specifically is how this pin works. So when I pull that out, you notice there's 2 connected to this one piece, so you don't have to individually remove those. This just makes it a lot easier to deal with, more convenient. When I remove that, this is staying in place. I kind of like that actually. Part of that is because it does have a thick powder coat on it, but also if I just pull forward on the base like that, it lowers down, kind of stops. You just need, because what's happening is it's sitting at an angle, so it's applying tension there, so it doesn't fall down and smash your foot. I kind of like that personally. That's what my experience with this one so far. And you can flip this around, and maybe put it up here if you have a trailer that's sitting pretty high up with a 2-inch coupler. One thing is you need to make sure is this here will only go on the one side. You'll notice we have the 3 holes here. You're going to have 2 holes on the other side that this will go into. Here, I'll show you what it looks like in a second. There you go. See, there's only 2 holes here. And then you can lock this up. And like I said earlier, you can flip this 180 degrees. Now, it doesn't come with a pin. You have to invest in one yourself. And again, we have plenty of those on our website. And when I take this out, this is really heavy. And that's why it's really designed so you can put those accessories in through that receiver at the end of it. There's also going to be 2 pins here, or holes, where you can put your pin through. If you want to adjust how far or close this is sitting to your vehicle, I'll put it on the closer one. And right now this is sitting a little bit lower than I'd like. So what I'm going to do is just adjust this a bit too. And like I said, really easy to adjust. And you can actually adjust this in 1-inch increments. So that's actually a lot of adjustment for a ball mount. Sometimes you have 1.5 inches or closer to 2 inches, which is nice that you can get maybe like, let's say 8 inches to drop somewhere. But if you can't hit those specific numbers sometimes it doesn't really help that much. This hitch is not going to fail you if you plan on putting on any accessories. Let's say like a cargo carrier. Cargo carriers are typically rated for at the most 500 pounds, sometimes a little bit more than that. That's not anywhere close to this ball mount capacity. If anything, just be checking what your vehicle and hitch are rated for. And part of the reason why it does have that high capacity is going to be that construction. Like I said earlier, this is going to be made from steel. It's going to be very durable, thick steel, and on top of that, we're going to have this black powder coat to it. That's important because if this is going to be sitting out in the elements, steel is going to be more prone to rusting. That's what that finish is going to help us do and protect. Something else to think about is if you have a coupler sitting on this ball, that's going to be rubbing against that finish. And a lot of times I'll make it more prone to rusting, so I strongly advise using some ball grease with it so it doesn't scratch it up too much so it can last longer. And finally, let's get a few measurements just to see how this is going to sit on your vehicle. So all you have to do to figure this out for yourself is just find your pinhole, go from the center of that, and it's also going to depend on which pinhole you're using on the ball mount. Right now, I'm using the pinhole closest to the ball itself. And this is going to be sitting from the center of that pinhole to the center of the ball. That's going to be about 8¼ inches. Kind of lets you know how far away your coupler is going to be from the back of your vehicle. If you want it a little bit further away, you can use that second pinhole, which is going to be 1 inch further, which will make that distance 9¼ inches. Another thing to know, or you'd probably want to know, is the total distance is going to sit from your vehicle. All you have to do is measure from that pinhole again, and then just to the very edge of that receiver, and that's going to be about 9½ inches. Really nothing too crazy. It's not going to stick us so far. It's just something to be a little more mindful if you have a longer vehicle and there's tighter parking spots. And of course, this is going to change that distance a little bit. That's just going to be the rubber cap that you can put on here so you don't have any debris sitting in there getting in the way of any items you might put. And that's just going to change it up just to about 10 inches now. In my opinion, I think this is a perfect ball mount if you're someone who is constantly towing because maybe you're doing that for work, or maybe you just have a lot of accessories to take from one place to another. But maybe you also like to go on a lot of adventures, whether that's camping, bike riding, or anything along those lines, and you don't really want to choose what you have to do or be constantly switching between them, especially if this is something you're doing maybe a couple times a month or every other week. Now, if you're someone who's maybe towing quite a bit, and especially with a lot of different types of trailers, but maybe you might be going bike riding or camping like 1 or 2 times a year, then this might not be the one for you, because having to take this out 1 or 2 times a year isn't that big of a deal. But if you're someone who's constantly doing it, it is. Now, if that isn't you, another ball mount I'd recommend is going to be another one by WaySafe, and that's going to be part of the 180 series, but it's going to be made of aluminum. Because maybe you like the fact that you don't have to really mess with this too much. The biggest downside of this is just that heavy ball mount itself. The aluminum ones are going to be much lighter and much easier to manage and move around. But the downside to them is they're going to have a lower capacity for 2-inch receivers. For 2-inch receivers, this one actually has a pretty high capacity, so you'll be able to carry most things behind you. But really, it's just going to be depending on what accessories you're pulling behind you and how often you're doing it. But again, that was just a look at the WaySafe 180 Pro Ball Mount. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.